$5:32.
So phone will tell me. Oh, it's 5:32. Okay. Get busy. That's. Oh, well, we don't have the quorum. Need one more member. Hi, Doug.
Hey, Ray. Yeah, you do have a quorum. Kieran's there and Lonnie's there.
Can you not see them all? Oh,
I cannot see them.
Ray, I just texted Matthew and told him to get with the program.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, Karen's here. Lonnie's here, I'm here. So let's, I'll open this meeting of the North Bennington Graded School District Prudential Committee for January the 14th, 2026. On the screen, we have Lori Elwell, who's our secretary and clerk of the district. We have Lenny DePonte DeSorda, who's a board member. We have Kieran McNamara, who's a board member. We have Doug Bougie, who's our treasurer for the district. And we are expecting another, but we're going to begin. And maybe we can shorten the meeting. So, don't see anyone wishing to make public comments. So we'll go to the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes for the last meeting of December 17th, 2025. And the warrant for this month, which is I won't tell you the numbers because it doesn't really matter, but I will review the items in the warrant. There's payment to Lori for meeting minutes for last month. There are payments to the Southwest Vermont Union Elementary schools for 22 students who are attending there from our district. A total of this will be one of 3 payments. Total of $120,230. And then there's payment to the village school for tuition for 78 students. That's kindergarten through 6th grade. $146,954 and a quarter or so. Totaling up $267,259.29. We have the minutes to approve. We have the warrant to approve, and I'll entertain a motion.
Approve the minutes in the warrant.
Okay. I need a second, perhaps.
Oh, sorry, I'll second, Ray.
Thank you. Any discussion of any of the items? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
That's all of us. Next, finance report, which would be we'll let Doug speak to the treasurer's report first.
Tim has joined you as well.
Okay. Oh, yeah, and yeah, okay, thanks. Go ahead.
Yep, so not a whole lot to report this month. Everybody got the report, the paper copy or the email copy. We did receive the December disbursement of the state aid, so that went into the account. As noted from the December meeting, we paid the tax anticipation note in full. So that was paid. You'll see that on there as an expense. We discussed last month the payment of the receiving of the taxes from the village. And again, just as a reminder, those are paid in full. So any overpayment that the state calculates in April will go back to the village. Most likely next week, I will get together with Alice and or Renee to get the paperwork started to get the accounts open, which will be the first step at the new for the new accounts with the Bank of Bennington. That'll happen this month. And then we'll start transitioning automatic deposits, payments. We'll have to get checks ordered, all those steps. So my goal is between January and June 30th is to have everything transitioned. That way there it all happens in this fiscal year. So beginning July 1st, we can move forward with just one bank. So my hope is just for that 5.5 month period, we'll have two banks. We'll be wrapping up with the current and switching to the new. So Ray, I'll probably send you a few emails from time to time of things you'll need to sign as the chairperson for moving those banking services over.
Okay, did we make a resolution last month to, I'm already given the authority to sign warrants, so I assume that that will carry over to signing papers for this transfer.
Right, and what we'll be doing, right, because there has to be a secondary signer. So if I'm unavailable or there's something, so you would have signed quite a long time ago because we've never changed banks.
Right.
And you've been chairperson for, how many ever years it's been. So that part is not really a change. It's just, because it's a new bank, you'll be signing for that. And last month we did have the vote to move forward with the Bank of Bennington. So that vote
Right,
is on
so
record
that's
from last month.
we have it covered in terms of authorization.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. So now it'll just be all the technical, getting the paperwork filled out, getting the accounts open, getting everything transitioned.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's
Unless
in your
anybody has
hands.
any other questions, that's all I
Yeah.
had.
Okay,
I'll probably
That's
stay on for a bit and just listen for the budget. And if you have any questions, if my name's still here, I'll still be on. I'm just going to turn my camera off.
okay. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Well, one other question, Doug.
Yep.
What's going to be done with the state money that we've received? Have you made, well, you're gonna wait till the transition is done.
Well, right. So that is a direct deposit. So what we'll just have to do, either Alice or Renee has access to the state portal or the state site. So we would just give them the new account information. So then once we are transitioned, they would just start depositing directly to the new account.
No, I'm talking about the estate money that's listed.
Oh, estate. I'm
The
sorry. I
90
thought you said state.
Yeah, no,
So-
that, I understand that confusion. Yep, go ahead.
Yep. So that'll still be designated as separate funds. Right now, that is in the savings portion that earns more interest. So that'll
Okay.
still be designated as, as the amount that we have. So that'll still show that way.
Okay, you're not gonna dump it into the trust fund? area?
Well, that can be a discussion when that CD comes due.
Okay,
We can't add to
that's on
that
CD.
CD until it matures.
All
Right. The
thank you.
the Eric money is in a CD, and I believe that comes due May 31st,
right.
which is going to be perfect. That will switch over. So at that time, if you haven't used the estate money, the board can have a discussion if they want to add that to the Eric money.
Okay. All right, the only other item that I see on the treasurer's report that is a question mark in terms of whether we just maintain it is the prepaid legal fees, $950.
Yep, so that would be probably a Renee question, because that's those items at the very bottom, that money is within the general account, so to speak, but it's earmarked for that. So it has a special line item. So that's, I think, a carry forward from a prior budget, similar to how
Yes,
the repairs and things work. So
yeah,
that would be a Renee question as to how to zero that line item off.
well, the way to zero it out is to request the return of it, to no longer have that, that's not a, it's a prepaid, it's basically a retainer.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. And, I don't know, we may need it, but, so and it's only $950, so I'm sort of inclined to leave it alone, but maybe we ought to make contact with the attorney who's got it in his possession.
Sure.
I suppose that would be up to me to do. And I think I may look into it just to verify that it's still a retainer.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So that's finance. We've done the consent agenda. The next item on the agenda is policies. There is a policy to warn, which is board member conflict of interest, policy number 7205, a required policy. There've been some, I think there've been some amendments, but they're not actually marked on this policy that I have. I think you were there at the last meeting. We didn't do anything to this policy.
No.
No. We're just refreshing it up, basically. So this is a warning, so there is a opportunity to discuss it when it comes around for approval, which would be next month. So I'll entertain a motion to move to accept this, to to move to warn that this policy, board member conflict of interest 7205.
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Well, that's a first and a second there. Kieran's first and Lenny's second. I assume there's no discussion. We'll just call the question. All in favor of warning this policy 7205, board member conflict of interest?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's all of us. That's still not here, right? Okay, thank you. So under finance, we also had a board FY27 budget update, but I'm moving that to the superintendent's report. And Renee may be here shortly from being in the Arlington meeting next door. However, I did send you the revision that she sent out. Perhaps, well, it doesn't, this is not the one that she sent me today. This is not the actual revised. Because Matt and I had had a conversation with Tim about the village school requests, and we had talked about the lease, and we had decided to we had a policy of allowing for a loss of students to where the number of students was less than the amount of students that we figured for in the budget. And in order to make that a little less onerous on the village school, we had an addendum that allowed a deduction of the amount of tuition for every 2 students below the number that we had projected.
Do you want me to print the updated one or display it?
If you could display it or print, if they can see it, if it's displayed.
And I can print it.
Yes.
Is it this one here?
And the question is whether other local sources, oh, actually, that is correct, isn't it? It's I think it's too high.
Should say draft 2.
It's that too, but I thought there was.
That's, yep. that's
Oh,
the
it's today.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, at any rate, so this budget that you have there reflects that change, that transition to a lower lease payment. And so there's a little less from the lease payment. There's quite a bit less in the lease payment that is reflected in other local sources in the revenue side. But we have a very large fund balance this year. So we end up with an ability to fund. We end up with almost $22,000 less spending than current year. And that's due in part to a decline overall in number of students that we pay tuition for, which is our largest single budget item. And after the correction of the lease payment amount, we're still under last year's budget by almost 22,000. And so the page that has the calculation is sitting by itself here. There's a final page that shows the effect on what the expected tax rate is once you blend the numbers, the final numbers in for the MAU side of our budget for the number of students attending MAU with the elementary students. We have almost equal amounts currently this year between K-6 students plus pre-K students and secondary students at middle school and the high school. And because of the change in the revenue sources, we have
Matthew Patterson coming in too.
yeah, okay. We end up with a slightly different number for North Bennington and Shaftesbury's
There you are.
homestead tax rate. So we end up with, last month the last meeting we had, we showed tax rate that was just a couple of cents above the last year's adjusted homestead tax rate. And this we're talking about North Bennington of 146.91. But now we're projecting $1.52 and 31 thousandths. So it's fairly close to what we showed last month, right? Pretty close. Pretty close. But the projected, and this is always subject to change because the amount of the yield on the $1 of taxation may change because that's a legislative decision. What else could change? The long-term weighted averages are set now.
They
for
are.
both North Bennington and for Mount Anthony. The other changes are CLA. Now we have a known CLA we've dropped to under 60% in North Bennington, and Shaftesbury has dropped to about 65%. And that always means that the tax rate goes up, even though of course your expenditures are what they are. And the amount of taxes that people will pay will be pursuant to our actual spending. At any rate, I asked Renee to look into whether we could have any significant impact on this increase, which for North Bennington is about little over 5 cents per hundred. And for Shaftesbury is about almost 10 cents per hundred, because their drop was, they had a CLA above 70% last year. But the only levers I see in this budget are the board's contingency fund and the money that we put in for building expenses, the building reserve fund. And it turns out that it takes $36,000 for North Bennington's rate off of spending for North Bennington's rate to move half a penny. Is that right?
36 would move it a penny,
A penny, okay, to move it a penny.
and
So-
38 for Shaftesbury ID.
Yeah. So, we could alter the amount that we put into the building reserve, because most years we spend less than 30. So we could, and since we still have a contingency in the Board of Education budget that we ordinarily carry, just in case we've miscalculated or there's an influx of students that we have to pay for, or some other expense that's legitimate that we need to pay for that we didn't expect. So we have two contingency funds. One's for building, the structure of the building and any other repairs that it needs. And the other is for contingency of having additional students, which is a nice thing to have, but we're not expecting that because last month Renee sent out some charts. One of the charts was of the charts graphs, line graphs of the decline in enrollments in the districts in the Southwest Vermont Supervisory Union. Ours is not precipitous, but it is a decline over the last several years and expected to continue. So, why did I put that in?
Ray, I'm not
Yeah.
inclined to, given the fact that Act 84 is waning, wouldn't it be prudent to have our fund balance stay larger?
Well, I would think so, yes. I don't think, we're not going to save taxpayers very much money here if we take all those out, and we may end up with an egg on our face with having to find money we didn't budget and tax for.
Right.
So I did make the attempt. I don't know if there's anything else I could tackle in this budget. You know, there's very little path, and the most likely area where we would be hit is if there's a special ed expense that we're unaware of, I suppose, that develops.
Or the enrollment assumptions are not, are not accurate.
Yeah, that could go, it could go up, or it more likely is going to go down. And so costs may be less, so we may save more money than we expected, but it doesn't seem to me that it's not a I don't know. I'll throw it out to you guys. You know, Matt's got his opinion, I got my opinion. So Kieran
Yeah,
and Lonnie.
it kind of seems, yeah, I agree with what Matt says though, and what you said, Ray, about, we don't want to deplete all those funds to save really like minute amounts on taxes and then bump into something down the line where we really needed all of those funds. So I'm in agreement with that.
Okay.
I mean, it has been reported by the governor that he's planning to buy down taxes again to the tune of 75 million, which would then move that homestead property yield number up a little
Up a
bit.
bit, so we drop
your
the rate
tax rate down.
anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So we may end up with, that would give us a little more surplus, in fact. And I think that's a good thing. But we can't predict that at the moment.
Right.
Because that's 5 months down the road, really.
And then I apologize for being in another meeting when you started, but we do have, I think I summarized it in one of the emails earlier this week. Just there, we have right at this point 12 known incoming kindergartners.
Yeah.
And I have a 15 placeholder in this budget, so a buffer of 3. And that's not, touching your contingencies, so.
Yeah. So there is a little amount of surplus that we could throw against it, but it won't make much difference in the rate.
So the current looking at a 3.8% increase.
In North Bennington's rate, yes, that's correct.
Yep. And quite a bit more for Shaftesbury. 7.5.
If it makes you feel any better, this district is pretty much the lowest in the SU. Arlington is right now struggling with a 25% increase in their tax rate.
Probably.
over 40 cents. And then the elementary school district ranges from 10% to 18.5%. So those increases are 13 cents to over 25 cents on the tax rates
Wow.
for those towns.
And
Okay.
we've been doing it all wrong for 10 years, I guess, huh? It's bullshit.
Okay, so
And I would say too, I mean, the good point is those numbers for North Bennington and Shaftesbury are very much in line with the village budget that we just passed. Well, that's going to be presented from last night, which is 5.93. So, you know, overall, if those numbers hold true as far as the two tax rates, you know, the increase to the North Bennington taxpayers and the Shaftesbury ones for school is all going to be in line with each other. Nothing's going to be drastic. And like I pointed out last night, even this goes even further. We're still the lowest in the area, you know, as far as increases go for taxes.
And the governor is, it's unclear sometimes what he's actually trying to refer to. I just took him to mean, you know, absolute numbers of spending. But maybe he's just only talking about tax rates. I'm not sure, but we're certainly meeting that requirement of not increasing the amount that we're spending very much, because we're being responsive to enrollment declines. Mostly that's where it's in there, because that's the biggest item in our budget.
And just another thing that Mr. Payne has had me kind of point out to the boards is how your budget actually relates to your education spending, how that actually relates to what goes on your ballot article for the budget. So even though you were looking at a almost, you know, a 0.7% decrease in the overall expenditure budget,
Yes.
when we're comparing that with our education spending per long-term weighted ADM,
Yes.
that's actually dropped by nearly $1,300. So what's going to go on the ballot article with this draft of the budget would be a 9.76% decrease in spending per weighted pupil.
Yeah.
So your budget's not down 1%, but your spending per weighted pupil is down almost 10 compared to this year. So just a way to make things more confusing for the, you know, the voters. 'Cause it's just so many variables.
That is part of the problem. I don't think the warnings do enough information, but I think from the point of view of what the state wants us to do, we're accomplishing that. Thanks to the lady sitting next to me, puts us together.
Yep.
And the actual circumstances of the district, so. So are we in agreement about taking the budget we have and putting it forward?
Yes. I am.
I'm good with it.
Me too.
And I'll go along with that. So I think we can put it to bed.
I guess my only question would be the village school tuition. Like normally that kind of comes in
Yep.
a little bit later and we do make that adjustment, but we not have any sense of where that might land this year.
We're having that meeting tomorrow or Friday, I think.
Yeah,
Friday.
you have a 5% increase.
Yeah.
That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
It would be about 22.4 roughly. Is what I have in the budget. For 64 students. And And then the placeholder for the incoming Ks,
I think you've got it
I-
at that.
I,
yes.
I put it in at that rate as well.
I can tell.
Yes.
I calculated it out. Check it, so.
Yeah.
So. All right, if we're amenable to accepting the budget as adopting it as presented by Renee. Subject to. Final pass with 10. On the village school. And then we can adjust the warning we can put those numbers in for the warning. And prepare the warning for signature at what's our state again, Lori?
To post is the 22nd.
22nd, yeah.
I mean, you can approve it at any point. It just has to be posted between the 22nd and February 1st.
Okay.
So that would be a Thursday. 22nd, yeah. So do we want to meet on that day, the 22nd, to sign the warning? Approve the warning and sign it?
Yeah, you want to do it in person at the school?
Yeah,
Which day was that?
it's a Thursday.
22nd.
Sorry, what? Next Thursday? No.
No,
Yes,
the 22nd.
a week.
That's
from
next
tomorrow.
week.
It's next
I'm
week.
gonna,
That is next
I'm
week.
heading out of
Okay,
town
that's
today,
right.
so I won't be able to be there in person for that. But is this something that I can do like DocuSign for, Renee? Or is it in
Unfortunately,
person?
yeah, unfortunately, no, the warnings are still old school and require wet signatures, so. Whoever's present, as long as you have a majority of the
Okay.
board, you'll
Well,
be set.
Well, when would you be able to make it, Lenny? Because we have we have a week or so to do it, so.
Yeah, I get back into town in the late afternoon on Friday the 23rd. I could meet at the school on the evening of Friday the 23rd if other people are available.
Is that acceptable to Kieran and Matthew?
Yeah, it could be, but why can't we adopt this now?
You
Subject,
can't sign the warning now.
well, okay.
Yeah, we would need to warn another meeting, have that document actually included in the agenda. For the board to adopt and act upon. So, I mean, it can even flow into the following week too, if it Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, the following week is better, that whole following week is.
Yes.
Whatever works for y'all. That's good.
So.
Could do Saturday morning, the 24th too.
Yep, I'd be available for that as well. I know that's Winterfest though, so I don't know if there's going to be a bunch of prep going on at the school, if that's going to be problematic.
That wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I'm available
Saturday morning?
once I'm back in town, I can do Friday evening or Saturday morning.
Okay, so.
Let's do Saturday morning.
That's the
What time is
24th.
Winterfest start?
It's in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's like 11. It's like things start off around 11ish, I believe,
Yeah.
and go more towards the afternoon.
Want to maybe meet for 10? Is that
Yep.
too early?
Nope.
I can do 10.
10
My
My son
Saturday
gets me up at 5 a.m. We could do 5 a.m. if y'all wanted.
Yeah. Sure.
We're not on those restaurant hours, Lonnie.
Oh gosh, no. Yeah, I can do 10 on Saturday morning.
And
That
that
work
will
for
be
you?
that's gonna be at the village school
Right.
in the library.
No, probably the head of school's office.
Yeah, we'll just meet in Tim's room, I would think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's fine.
So 10 o'clock, Saturday, the 24th, 10 a.m. at the village school in the office.
And we will not provide a Zoom link for that. I'm assuming that there aren't necessarily capabilities there.
We'll be there.
Yeah, but it does have to be public, open to public.
Yeah,
you
I think
can
last
only
time we did
provide
that, we
that
just
link
had
here.
Cat TV on Zoom, essentially, right?
Yeah, it would have to be somebody who. Yeah, we could set you up potentially with a user account to then become like the host of the meeting.
I think, I'd feel better if Tim would be willing to do it, because I think he's done Zoom meetings.
Right, well, we can generate a link for it, and
Yeah.
then I can work through the details with tech. And who would be the host for that.
All right,
I would be able to do that if you set it up, Renee.
Okay.
okay.
Doesn't
So-
seem, does it seem necessary if it's properly warned? Do we have to have a Zoom? We're talking
I don't
about,
think we've had a Zoom in the past for it, have we?
I don't recall that.
I don't know the law, the new law that went into effect.
I think you have to do it in both ways, don't you?
And the meeting is supposed to be recorded and posted on our website.
Right.
Okay.
Did not do.
So I think maybe we need to have the Zoom. But this office is not open, so that office would do. Or we could put it into a week, but you know, if everybody's willing and able to do it on that Saturday. Why not, as long as we can get meet the legal requirements there.
Okay,
That's
we'll plan on that and we'll figure out the Zoom link.
Okay. Thank you. So, I'm going to say for the minutes that by consensus, the board has adopted this budget with the one piece that's not settled firmly is the village school tuition, which may alter the results in the end.
Okay.
And that should be in the minutes, I think. We all assented. And so, we'll call that a vote. All right, and, I want to thank Renee for constant companionship on this.
Magician with the numbers.
And, yeah.
Yep.
And, Bethany for sitting with us and, doing the Zoom link. Appreciate that. And, I think we should adjourn.
A motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right,
Bye,
thank you very much.
everyone.
Yeah,
Have a good night.
yeah.
All right, now I gotta go bounce back over to the other meeting.
Thank you so much.